As entrepreneurs, we are so motivated to make a huge difference. And we really want to try some innovative ways of doing it. And today I've got one of the most innovative ways that we as entrepreneurs can really achieve some amazing results. And it's with contests. And I have one of your fellow entrepreneurs who is extremely successful in putting together contests. Tim Paulson is someone who I'm working with. Some of you know Genius Network, mastermind group that Joe Polish has. Tim is very active there and is one of the key guys driving this, as well as has his own business as an entrepreneur for most of his life. But even before then, and I'm thinking as I'm thinking introduction, I should have used his services. Vice President of Hair Clubs of America, where he drove the company, helped grow from 8 to 69. This is a guy who's all about growth, making a huge difference. But we're going to go into an area that some of the most successful entrepreneurs that you're going to know have created tremendous value through contests. You don't want to miss this. Stay tuned.
Ordinary success? No way. You want amazing, remarkable, exceptional breakthroughs. Dig deep, think bold, drive hard, watch yourself soar beyond your dreams. AESNation.com.
Tim Paulson, I am so excited to be here with you. We have a chance to get together in Phoenix at Joe's place, Joe Polish at Genius Network. And you are someone who I greatly respect on a whole bunch of different fronts. But today we're going to talk about contests. And first of all, thank you for joining us.
It's my pleasure. I can hardly wait to talk about this exciting topic.
Well, this is something that you and I, the first time I heard it and I saw, you were sharing some of the results in action, I go, this is something that I've got to do. And one of the big things about AESNation.com, we want to share these ideas because it's just so powerful. And what I'd like to do is have you give a little background, both personally and then how kind of it evolved to these contests. So why don't we start with your background? How did you get, Tim? You've been doing a number of marketing, business development things, both for Hair Club for Men originally, but then you've been doing it on your own. You've been supporting, some fantastic growth that Joe's had and other entities. How'd you get there?
Well, you're talking about contests. When we're talking about contests, I didn't know anything about contests before I started helping Joe polish with his in 2001. So it was like a light went on. He had worked with Bill Phillips at EAS, Body Transformation, Body for Life, all of these things, which we'll get into a little bit later. But so Joe had some experience with that and wanted to bring it to the business world. And so he and I joined forces. It was his idea, his brilliance, and it just resonated with both of us. We discovered that we're kind of good at this contest thing. And so anyway, what I discovered, John, was that business people and audiences that we serve are highly motivated by contests. When there are reasons to increase our intensity, when there's reasons to do more, to implement to a greater degree, people like it. And so we talk about prizes. The prize needs to be, exciting and compelling. The reason to compete has to be something that will help them grow their business or change their lives in a positive way. So that's kind of the genesis. It started with Joe, his idea, my helping him, and then over the last 14 years, it's just been absolutely phenomenal.
Tim, let's go into some detail here because I want to go over the examples. I mean, we've got the very first contest that you and really Joe started with was Bill Phillips. And
yeah,
if you're not into bodybuilding or you're not into getting in shape, which is a lot of the universe, I'd like to believe most of us as entrepreneurs are really familiar. I can remember, I think the book was called Body for Life, buying that and the whole thing. And I didn't know any of you guys then. Maybe share with us, what Bill Phillips did and, the transformation that happened there first before we go any further?
Well, what's really interesting is that Bill Phillips had a company that was kind of the way that I would put it was kind of a dark steroid type of a company. He wasn't selling steroids; those were illegal. But he actually in his magazine, and so a lot of people subscribe to this magazine. In his magazine, he would say, "Now steroids are illegal, but if you use them, here's the right way to do it," type of a thing. And he got to the point where he says, I want to change my image. I want to do something like a healthy bodybuilding direction, selling supplements and all these types of things. And he got the idea of doing a body transformation contest. And right about that time, he hired Joe Polish, who had his own business, as an independent consultant. So Joe helped him through a lot of this. So Bill Phillips decided, you know what, I'm going to do this contest, body transformation, and I'm going to give away my Lamborghini. So throughout his magazines, he would actually advertise this contest that he was doing, and I think it was probably a $250,000 Lamborghini. The individual who can the before and after picture in 90 days transform his or her, because there's men and women, transform their physique, their body, most dramatically, and their life, because there was an essay involved with it as well, right? A 600-word essay to talk about how this contest has changed your life. Anyway, so he did this body transformation contest, and he created a documentary. And so the documentary is called Body for Life. And when individuals got that, they would watch it, and they would become inspired, and they would actually want to compete in the next contest. So it was contest after contest after contest. So the contest for Bill Phillips absolutely transformed his business in multiple ways. First of all, how the public perceived him. He became a good guy. Joe Polish gave him the idea of donating money from the contest and from the documentary. Individual would get the video, and they would donate $20, $30, $40 to Make-A-Wish Foundation. Had the halo effect. So transformed his business, because people then became very attentive to what he was doing and his products. It drove sales dramatically. And Bill sold his company, as I recall, for about $250 million after he had done a series of these contests. So that's kind of where it started with Bill Phillips and what it did for his business and for his clients. I mean, individuals buying the supplements and following his recommendations, they transformed their bodies. They transformed their lives. The before and afters and the stories we heard were absolutely remarkable. So that same type of thing can happen in other business when you do contests. A different end result, but building the business and helping your clients build themselves.
Well, and I remember just buying the book and the picture after picture of, 90 days. I mean, it was pretty powerful transformation. And without the contest, he wouldn't have had that. And, can you imagine your customers, whatever business you're in, sending you, in effect, all these testimonials and, results that they're getting in short periods. And that's where contests can be very powerful. I want to take it another step. Then Joe and you put it together and started using it in one of Joe's businesses. Why don't you describe that?
Well, think about this. He was a carpet cleaner. Joe Polish was a dead broke carpet cleaner. Now he's a world famous marketer, networker, has the Genius Network and so forth. But he started out as a dead broke carpet cleaner in the 90s, discovered marketing, applied those principles to his business, transformed it, caught the attention of the industry, started helping the industry, built this business. So in 2001, he had a really good business. It was doing very, very well. He was doing seminars and selling books and tapes and so forth to help carpet cleaners. Then he got the idea, after working with Bill Phillips, I am going to do a contest. And he called it the Better Your Best Contest. And so it was October of 2001 when he announced this to a seminar that he was actually conducting. About 330 people were there. And so it was transform your business. And this is how he set it up. He said, better your best. You're competing against yourself. And so people like that. It was resonating because across the aisle, if I'm in this seminar, I'm seeing a guy who has $1 million business. And I might be a carpet cleaner who just started in business and I'm struggling. How am I going to compete with that guy over there? So it was better your best. And then there were different categories as well. So it evened the playing field. But anyway, so the better your best concept is this. Choose any 3-month period from last year. That's kind of like your starting point, your benchmark, so to speak. Take the same 3 months this year and crush it. Just show how, and so the same 3 months, again, kind of evens the playing field, because I might have had a really bad 3 months last year, and I know that my big season is these 3 months. No, it evened it out. So it was the same 3 months this year and last year. And so it was a great idea. Just take those 3 months. It's a short enough contest where people don't lose interest. And that was really important. We discovered that. A short enough contest. I can crush it for 90 days. And after 90 days, the individuals who were participating, they showed everything that they did. They documented it, all the marketing, all of the books that they read, the systemizing that they did, the way that they organized their business, all these things, compared to last year. And the way that it was judged in great part by what they submitted, what they did, but the numbers were critical. And the results were phenomenal for the clients. There were individuals who struggled for 22, 25 years. They entered the contest and it absolutely changed their business because it increased their intensity, it increased their focus, and it gave them additional incentive to implement, to do things. And so what Joe gave away his first year of the contest was a Jaguar convertible purchased new for $80,000 a year or two before. It was ironically a gift from Bill Phillips to Joe Polish. Thanks for helping me with my contest. Thanks for helping me with my business. Here's a Jaguar. So Joe actually had that set up. That's the prize. Now, one other thing, it was a spokesperson contest. So it was become the industry spokesperson for Joe Polish's Piranha Marketing. And the winner of the spokesperson, the one who's a spokesperson, gets the vehicle. There were some laws and so forth that we needed to comply with. So it was, by making it a spokesperson contest, it complied with the laws and regulations. And then the Jaguar came along with it. But what we discovered was that there were a lot of people who were more motivated by being the industry spokesperson for Joe Polish because they loved Joe. They were more motivated by that than the vehicle, but the combination was powerful as well.
And Tim, I've watched the videos of some of the contest winners describing, the before and after period and how they've done and, their passion. And I can't imagine a better testimonial Joe could hire the best actor or actress in the world and it would not even be close to the heartfelt responses from these individuals. I can't remember her name. I think I had a tear in my eye from watching her. And it's just, these are things that you wouldn't get any other way.
Yeah, that was Sandy Raskob, and you're exactly right. And so just a couple of other peeks into the contest model, starting with Joe and Bill Phillips, was that individuals would need to write that 600-word essay because, remember, it was a spokesperson contest. So that leads them to submitting the most incredible essays, which are like testimonials, the most incredible videos that some of them included in their packages. And also, at the end of it, part of the judging was at a live event. So Joe would have his next year's boot camp, and he would have the finalists in the contest standing on the stage. And each of them would have 4 minutes to share how competing in the contest changed their life. And so you're exactly right, John. The most heartfelt, dramatic, unbelievably awesome testimonials, written and verbally. And you're right, it's not paid actors. These were carpet cleaners. Just like all the others in the audience, they were carpet cleaners. They were dead broke before. They used to work they work in blue-collar jobs. They get up on the stage. They're not practiced. They're not professionals. But boy, were they effective. You cannot get better testimonials that you can use in your marketing and to develop your business better, in my experience, than you can from a contest.
Well, let's take it a little further. You're working on a new campaign, and maybe kind of describing that, if you would.
Well, I don't know if you've ever heard of Tony Robbins or not. He's a guy,
Once or twice.
He's written a book or two, and he's spoken at a seminar or two, I guess. But yeah, Joe Polish and I have built a contest for Tony Robbins. And so Tony's goal, see, and we'll talk about this perhaps a little bit more in just a few minutes, but what is the goal of your contest? So we'll talk about Bill Phillips' goal, and we'll talk about Joe Polish's, but Tony Robbins, he came to us. So Joe Polish and I spent 2 hours with him on the phone talking about contests. And Joe and Tony are friends, so and Tony became aware of Joe's experience in contests. So Tony came to us and he says, I want to build my list by 1 million names. And we said, well, you know what? You can do that through a contest. So we have created a contest for Tony. And so we're still dealing with his team, and preparing to help Tony with that. But yeah, it's a contest for small business owners. So let me start with this. So just taking some of the things that I've already said. It's going to be, at least as it is now, a spokesperson contest. Does that sound familiar? And what small business owner wouldn't want to be an ambassador, a spokesperson for Tony Robbins, to be in Tony Robbins' inner circle, to be able to work closely with Tony Robbins? So an ambassador.
And might there be some publicity that you might get in your own enlightened self-interest for helping with that ambassadorship?
Boy, that's a good idea. I am Tony Robbins' ambassador. That's going to help me whatever my business is. You're exactly right, John. So that's going to drive the contest more than the prizes. Now let me tell you about some of the prizes. Tony wants to give $1 million prize. So that might be divided up in different ways. It might not just be $1 million to one person, but $1 million prize. So that's going to catch attention. And also he wants to feed 1 million hungry people. When Tony was a teenager, his family didn't have food. And one day somebody came and brought food for the family, changed Tony's life. So he likes to do that. He's the biggest donator to, I think it's feedamerica.org or feedingamerica.org. But he wants to, as part of this contest, do that, feed 1 million people. So now the thing is, and this is, I think, an important concept when individuals consider doing their own contest. Tony went to Steve Forbes and said, hey, you know what? I want to do a contest, and I'd like for you to sponsor it. Now, I don't know the details of that conversation. I heard that was happening the Friday after we spoke to him. But so the plan is to have Forbes be a sponsor. So it's not Tony who has to, though he can, has to give the $1 million. It's Forbes. And then Forbes will write articles throughout the contest featuring those individuals who are competing in the contest and those who win sub prizes and so forth. So it's going to be a huge thing. The way that we've designed it for Tony is it's a 2-year contest, but it's divided up into 90-day contests. So there's several contests within the contest.
It's just going to be ongoing over and over usage on this. I mean, it's amazing with a great media partner.
It's going to be big. So we've got some things, we maybe want to do a really huge prize for the ambassador, and then the $1 million might be sub prizes or divided up into sub prizes. But that's what we have.
Well, you got a lot cooking, Tim. And what I want to do is I want to bring it down and tighten it up for our fellow entrepreneurs, because it's, we hear Bill and Joe and Tony are doing this, and I'm going to be doing it, and we've got a whole bunch of other guys that you are working with.
Let's pause for a second. I want to make sure we understand that. John Bowen is going to be doing it.
Well, I am going to be doing it. I haven't figured out exactly which of the 2 markets I'm in that I'm going to be doing it, but I am definitely doing it because I just see the leverage is huge. And this is something that takes a little bit of time, but I want to go through the steps that you've got me focused on. I mean, the very first thing, if you're considering it, is what do you want to have it accomplish? And Tim, why don't you just, what did Bill, Joe, and Tony want to have in each of their situation? What were they exactly looking to achieve?
Well, so they had different motivations. Bill Phillips was, first and foremost, he wanted to get people to consume the product. His product, nutritionals, protein powders, all these types of things. Now, here's what's interesting, and I'm going to compare it to another contest that you might be, not a contest, but sweepstakes that you might be interested in or familiar with. Publishers Clearinghouse. For years and years and years, Ad McMahon and others, they did this sweepstakes. And an individual did not have to buy magazines in order to enter the contest. But people would buy magazines because they thought it would give them a better chance of somehow winning this sweepstake. Bill Phillips. So individuals did not have to purchase his supplements. They did not have to purchase his products. You can do a body for life, before and after picture, do your essay and so forth without all that. But the logical thing that people did was, I'm going to use his products because it gives me a better chance. And it did. It gave him a better chance because they were high quality products. Everything that he published about the contest, it was like, here are some of the products that will help you to do this, to achieve this, and so forth. So his motivation was simply to get more traction, individuals actually buying and using his products. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, sales went through the roof of the actual products. So the contest drove the purchase and the utilization, the consumption of his products. With Joe Polish, he had a program that he called Platinum Plus. Platinum Plus was you'd call it a coaching program. So individuals who joined that program, it was $10,000 a year. So carpet cleaners, they don't generally have $10,000 a year. But the contest drove individuals wanting to join that program for two reasons. One is if they join that program, they're going to get inside access to Joe. They'd come to meetings 4 times a year with Joe, live meetings. They would be able to learn and implement all of this stuff that would actually help their business. But also they wanted to win that Jaguar. Mm-hmm. So it was driving those memberships. So over the years, Joe had hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people in that Platinum Plus program. Mm-hmm. And over the years, he did this contest for a decade. He gave away exotic cars for over 10 years. So his motivation was get more people in my Platinum Plus program. That's what it did. And to change the lives of his clients. I mean, that was really the underlying reason. It was like, if people could join and to get involved with his program and his education and implement it, their businesses would change. And this became a vehicle for that to happen. So Joe was keenly interested in the welfare of his clients, and this helped to really facilitate their growth. With Tony Robbins, as I mentioned, it's a different motivation. His is, I want to get 1 million more people on my list. I want to be able to share my knowledge, my wisdom, and so forth with over 1 million people. And the way that Tony wants to do that is he's going to give away free content. He's going to give a series of videos of educational materials to small business people for free. So individuals, in order to enter the contest, all they have to do is opt in for that. And then they have access to all of this free information. And then when they implement that information, they will then have this growth that they will report through the contest. So those are 3 different motivations for doing a contest. I've heard of others, and I've helped others, as a referral contest. If like they go to their clients, their customers, and say, we're doing a contest, and whoever can give us the most referrals will win this contest. I'm saying it kind of unelegantly, but there are contests that revolve around referrals as well. And really, the sky's the limit. You can think of a lot of different applications of a contest.
Let's go to, we've talked about, what we're looking for the contest to really go ahead and accomplish. We've talked about the prizes that they've offered. How do they go about judging the winner? Because, I mean, the best body transformation, the best business, the best of your best type thing, or Tony, the small business. How are they doing that, Tim? How would a fellow entrepreneur putting this in place actually make this happen and set the judging up?
So before I answer that, before I forget, there are laws that govern contests. So, and it varies by state sometimes. Certain states don't allow giving away prizes and having a purchase associated with it and so forth. So you need to make sure that you comply with that. And those laws are changing over time. But the criteria, so with Bill Phillips's contest and Joe Polish's contest, the way that we put it was up to 50% of the judging was based on the essay. So the essay, you go ahead and participate in the contest, and now you write a 600-word essay to tell how you benefited from competing in the contest and consuming the program or the whatever it was that's associated with that. And so it's a very subjective thing. I mean, so it's judges who are actually looking at those essays and then, oh, I like this one best, I like this one best. But something that Joe did I thought was absolutely brilliant was that he would take copies of the essays from all of those who actually participated in the contest. So those who entered the contest, there's an essay. He would make copies of those essays, and then he would send them out to his clients to vote. So that was a very helpful part of it. It was like, so they would vote, so we would actually have numbers. So which essay did you like first, second, and third? So it made it easier to kind of quantify the judging. It wasn't so subjective. It was like, okay, we're involving others to help us with that. Then the rest of the contest, with Joe's, using that as an example, the numbers really drove it. So in other words, if a company, so it's again 3 months from last year compared to the same 3 months this year, if they increased their gross by 2,000% and their net by 2,800%, you can judge that against what another person has done, increasing it for less. We also did it by categories. So we had categories. Individuals could choose. So if it was a smaller company, $100,000 or less, they were kind of competing against each other. 100,000 to 500,000 was another category. 500 to $1 million, over $1 million. So we judged them by category. Then we'd take kind of finalists out of each category and then just try to look at those and try to figure out the best we could with several judges. We'd have usually 10, 11, 12 judges who would then analyze that. So kind of a set of criteria that we would use to help them identify those companies that really bettered their best better than others. And then it came down to the live 4-minute talk, So that was the end. And then we'd have the audience vote on that as well. It was a live audience, 12 finalists. Each of them spoke for 4 minutes. We would have the audience identify which one did you like best, second best, to see who really was a spokesman, who actually did resonate with the audience. With Bill Phillips' contest, it was very subjective judging as well. It was, okay, here's the essay, and then the before and after pictures. With Tony Robbins' contest, there's some of that as well. You've got the essays, and then, so it'd be very much like Joe Polish's contest, where you have the numbers as well as the essay. So as much as you can make that so that it doesn't look like there's any bias in that, the better. So having independent judges, having the crowd help you with the judging, that's actually better from a legal standpoint. Otherwise, it might look like you're just choosing favorite.
What you did, too, is you created tremendous excitement among the group. And then what I love in picking the winners, you got great video, testimonials, you got written essays, all kinds of different things that you can use in future marketing that they're priceless.
Yes, you're exactly right. It was like, and really, here's another strategic byproduct that came that we didn't think about at first with Joe Polish's contest. Individuals would submit contest packages showing what they did, all of the marketing that they did, and the systemizing that they did, and the books that they read, and their numbers and all these things. Part of the contest the contest rule said anything that's submitted is owned by Joe. So now he has all this content that he could repackage, he could repurpose and use in a variety of different ways, including their essays, including their testimonials on video and elsewhere.
Now, this is just, Yeah, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to share it with aesnation.com. I remember the transcripts are going to be over at aesnation.com, the show notes, all the links that we're talking about. But I want to change the segment now, and let's go to the book of the day. And Tim, for your fellow entrepreneurs, what would you recommend for them to read?
2 books. One is Contagious.
Let me pull it up, and I'm going to put it up on the screen. Go ahead.
Okay. Jonah Berger. He's a professor, I believe it's at Harvard. But I love this book. He outlines steps, and he spells it STEPPS. 2 P's. It's an acronym. And so the acronym stands for social capital, triggers, emotion, public. What's the other P? Public.
I have to go back. I reach back here and get it out of my bookshelf because I love the book too. I mean, it's a really powerful book because one of the things we all want is everybody wants everything to go viral because it's inexpensive publicity. But what he does is he's done the research to actually show you what's likely to go, not necessarily viral, but to spread. And that's, boy, it could change a business. Also, I'm not going to let you off the hook, too, with another book I'd like you to recommend. And this is your book.
Yeah, you know what? Let me see if I can remember the name of that one, too, because I was struggling with steps. Oh, yeah, Love and Grow Rich. That's right. Love and Grow Rich. How to love your way to life's riches. So it's a business-related book. It also applies to all aspects of life. And really, foundational principle is when you love what you do, when you have a passion for what you do, it changes what you do. It changes your behavior. It affects the people whom you associate with, your clients and so forth, to a greater degree. It's an over 300-page book. If I was rewriting the book today, it would be a lot shorter, but it's very comprehensive. There's a lot of good information in there. And it's very congruent with what we're talking about here with contests, because I love contests. I actually I have a passion for it. And because I love it, because I have a passion for it, I live and breathe it. And when we're involved with contests, it's just so much fun. Confucius said, choose the work you love and you'll never work a day in your life. And that's advanced in my book. With contests, it's like, this is fun. This is great. There's so much excitement. People get so excited about it. And the results from individuals implementing are just so profound. It's a wonderful environment.
It is really good. And then I'm going to just pull up also on the screen, loveandgrowrich.com, where I flashed the Amazon for the book, but you can go here and get the book at an even better price, which is Tim's website. And Tim, let's go to the your smartphone. And the next segment is the application of the day. What do you have there?
It has iPhone 6 Plus. This bad boy. It's like a little tablet here. I'll tell you, I love a company that is called The Great Courses. I consume programs on that like crazy, whether it's learning how to speak Latin, art history, business courses. I mean, they're just remarkable. So on my phone, I've got this app, The Great Courses. I go there and I'm able to watch the videos, and I have some in audio. As a matter of fact, I have Contagious, or How Ideas Spread, on this as well as an audio book. But I love The Great Courses. It's one of the, I spend more money there than I spend anywhere else. It's just, I can't get enough of it. But to make it so easy to have it as an app on the phone is just absolutely
It is really an amazing company, and to have access to these brilliant courses taught by the top professors for basically almost nothing. Let me go to the last segment here. And it's resources. And Tim, if people want to learn more about you and what you're doing, where would they go?
The best place to go is www.timpaulson.com. Because what you'll see there, I've got my book. You can actually click a link to the book. I'm an artist. I love creating art. I love art history. I love and appreciate art from others. So there's a link to a website where it has some of my art as well. You can actually see behind me, whoops, a really cool painting I did, 5 foot by 5 foot of the Beatles Abbey Road. But anyway, so there, and it talks about some of the other programs that I have as well. So thank you for asking. That's a good place to start.
Well, also, we brought up Joe, so we should, you and I met at Genius Networkmastermind.com. Tell us a little bit about what's going on at what often is referred to as 25K.
25K, it's referred to that because that's how much it costs a year to belong. And there's 157 members. These are some of the most incredible people they are the most incredible people I've ever met, including yourself, John. I mean, we sit there in these meetings and there's just brilliance. And what's really cool is you have some really brilliant people like Dan Sullivan and others who say, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to be in a room where everybody's getting smarter. And Dan Sullivan is brilliant. And so if he's not the smartest person in the room, it shows what's going on in that group. Just the highest level discussion network group and for entrepreneurs really on the planet. Joe Polish is just a wonderful person, as you know. I've known Joe for almost 20 years now, worked closely with him for the last 14. And he's just absolutely amazing at attracting individuals who want to share. And that's what I find in the 25K meetings, John, and I know you do as well. It's individuals who are not there to get, to take. Let me go there and just take as much as I can. Individuals are there to give. And so Jay Abraham, he said, I'm not going to say it as well as he says it because he's famous for those 9-syllable words and so forth, but he said it's the only place he's ever found. Again, this is a great Jay Abraham marketing legend. The only place he's found where you can be a benefactor and beneficiary in the same environment. So you're giving, but you're also receiving. So geniusnetwork.com is where you go to get more information about that. And it is highly recommended, even above my book.
I'll recommend it. I have learned so much over the last 5 years being a member there, and the connections, the friendships, the relationships in the business have been invaluable. Let me kind of wrap this all up. What were the key takeaways? I mean, I think Tim's done a phenomenal job of laying out the contest and how you use it and gave some real world examples. But, very first thing is, look at what you want to accomplish. I mean, number one, the contest should be designed to achieve that. Second, the prize has to be aligned with your audience. Tim and I were joking when I first started thinking of the privilege of coaching top financial advisors and giving them a car, particularly one of my used cars, even though I drive really nice cars. I mean, I think I'd have to give them a used jet type thing. So you got to make sure what the right prize is. Establish the criteria. How you're going to judge the winner so that you're getting the results that you want. Excuse me. Pick the winner and you do it in a way that leverages so you're getting all those testimonials, those results, the publicity for everyone. I mean, this is just so powerful a tool. Now, lastly, as Tim mentioned, there are always, in any business development, there's all kinds of compliance, legal things across the state. Work with your attorneys and make sure you're doing it well. But Tim, I got to thank you again. This has been so valuable. I'm going to encourage all our fellow entrepreneurs to go out there and really explore these contests so they can make a difference. Their current clients are counting on them. Their future clients are counting on them. Maybe their media partners are counting on them. Future ones. Don't let them down. Let's go out and make a huge difference together. Wish you the best of success.
Exceptional, remarkable breakthroughs. AESNation.com.